Hi guys, and welcome back to Cristian Casts, where I go fishing so you don't have to. Today we are looking at one of the last parts and equipment that I need for my bait building. It is a air compressor, and I actually got this from Fengda, I think it's called. Fengda? Was wrong. And it is the Fengda-186. And it is an oilless compressor with 125 watt, and you have got the 1/8 inch threads on it for the airbrush. I'll show you my airbrush actually then when we are setting it up. I'm going to be unboxing it, showing you what is in the box, and we're going to set it up that I can actually start airbrushing straight away with my bait build. It has got a 3-liter tank, and it doesn't really explode the bank. It is, I think, around 75 pounds, or I paid euro, I think around 80, so I'm not too sure anymore, but around there. And it should be quieter. I'll actually show you the other compressor that I had first. I actually borrowed it from my brother, and it was so loud, and I decided that's not possible for using it in the videos when I'm bait building, because I would always have to record a voiceover, and with this I might be able to use the audio with the compressor running. So we will be opening it. It's around, I think, 50 decibels when it is running, and the other one around 100 decibels, so just half the noise. So let's get into the box and I'll show you guys what you get. So first things first, you actually get a owner's manual and safety instructions, then how to set it up for airbrushing, because it actually is sold as a airbrush compressor. So I am going to pick it out of the box, and it is very well packed. I might open it on this side and drop it out of the box, because that I think is easier. So just like that, and there we go. It's out of the box, and as you guys can see, that is what you get, and it is very, very small, and as I said, really well packed. You have got everything you need. So unpack him. You've actually got a pressure control here, a safety valve right over here, and then you've got this handle. This handle I already read in some comments that when you switch it on through this handle, it actually vibrates and makes a little rattling noise. So I'll see if we actually leave it there or demount it, because it's just mounted with 2 screws. And otherwise, we have got a moisture catch right here, and it is on these little rubber feet. Let's pick it out. There we go. So this is what is in the box, and I'll show you guys in detail just now, and then I'll maybe also quickly attach, because I have got a normal air hose fitting here, and I'm gonna put it on this thread right there, and I'll seal it, and then I'll use it with my airbrush quick connector. I actually am putting on a normal quick fit that I can change it, and I'm not always bound to this. And if I just want to use it as a small compressor around the house or anything, I can actually put anything in with a normal adapter. So I will get you guys back in a moment, and I'll show you around, show you my airbrush colors and my airbrush, and then we'll maybe switch it on and see how loud it is, how the audio is, or if I will still be having to use a voiceover, or if it maybe is possible if I put it to the side and talk with the mic, that you guys can still hear me without a problem while I'm doing my bait builds. I've actually already printed my first prototypes and they are swimming, so I am now going to start sealing them, taking you guys with on the process, and then we are going to airbrush them and see how that goes. And yeah, so I'll show you around the compressor and we'll get it plugged in, and I'll maybe plug it in and then show you around the compressor, and then we'll see how loud it is. I'll start it up straight away, so see you soon. I'm actually going to put on him right there. I put some sealing tape on there, and I've got one of my old wrenches that my grandfather gave me, and I'm going to tighten that up quickly, and then I'm going to get you back and we're going to test it out and switch it on, and then I'll show you all the functions. You can actually let out the air right here and stuff, but I'll show you as soon as we start up the compressor. So as you guys can see, I have actually tightened this up and I've done everything to the compressor, plugged it in, and we're now going to switch him on right over here and we'll see how loud he is. So I don't know, it doesn't really disturb me at all. Maybe drop it in the comments if it disturbs you guys, or if you hear it loud, maybe I can still blend it out somehow, or if it's just like a quiet summing in the background. And we're gonna see the pressure is actually building up. I'll take you guys with. So as you guys can see right here, if it focuses, here is the pressure gauge, and we have got a knob that you pull out like that, and you can set the pressure plus or minus which you want to let go through. So I am going to go down. It is always dependent on the colors one uses. When airbrushing for thin paints, you use around 10 to 20 psi, which is the 10 psi is around 0.7 bar, so you can get in there somewhere and just test it out. Otherwise you add some thinner or some paint to make it thicker again. And otherwise for thicker paints you can use 40 to 60 psi around, and 60 psi is around the 4.1 bar. So this is a 4 bar compressor, and I'm now gonna, you see it switches off automatically. Then you can use air. So once I let out air, this is the valve for letting out the moisture. So I'll let out some pressure and we'll see when he actually starts again. So it's a start and stop compressor. He fills up the tank as soon as the pressure drops below a point, and you've got a safety valve right here. And now we will still attach my airbrush, and I'll show you my airbrush as well straight away, and then we'll end the video. I hope you guys enjoyed it and are excited about things that are coming up on the channel. Always keep in mind, these do get warm if you use them for long times and over a longer period, so maybe just take a break, go and drink something, let it cool down, and then I'll get my airbrush stuff and set you guys up again, and then I'll show you that quickly and we'll set it up to the compressor and see how it works. So as you guys can see, we are back. I attached the airbrush hose to the compressor, and I'm going to show you my airbrush now and maybe give you a handy tip how to not make splotches, because that's one thing I still struggle in because it's not automated yet. So I actually have got this airbrush, and I didn't buy a set because I read in a lot of the comments that the airbrush itself is really bad quality. I don't know if you guys have got experience with that. Maybe drop it in the comments. So I actually decided to get both separately. I paid a little bit more, but if I have to get things double, it irritates me. So I tend to rather straight away get something that I know that I can use it for a while before having to maybe upgrade if I really get into this hobby. Once again, something new that I'm doing. So as you guys can see, I have got this double action airbrush. You can set a point of the back pull point that if you've got a flow of paint that you're enjoying at the moment and you want to remember that it is constant, you can actually set this distance screw and it actually stops you from pulling back more. That means you can't overspray. And you've got these paint canisters that you can screw in right on the top here. You have got a thinner needle for the airbrush and nozzle head. You get some great lube and some seals and O-rings. So I actually got this separately, this quick fit, because I wanted to have them separate, that I can actually, if I am finished and I want to clean the airbrush of paint, I can actually take it off, clean it without wearing down these threads. So this comes in handy if you have got that and you've got a little bit more right here to hold when you are airbrushing. So my tip, that is I think one of the most important things that you have to watch while airbrushing, is if you're using a double action airbrush, which means that if you pull back just like this, you just start the paint flow. That means you don't have the airflow at all yet, which can be problematic, so you don't tend to do that. So when you are airbrushing, you actually tend to push the button, then you started the airflow. And when you are on the A button, you start pulling back, and you start pulling back, and you start the paint flow. And when you're finished with your stroke, you go forward, that you close the paint valve, that no paint is coming anymore, that only air comes, and then you go off. Because if you pull back like this and let go, you actually tend to leave some paint right at the top here, that once you start again the next time with pushing down for the air, you get splots. And that can actually ruin quite a nice painting piece that you have been working on for quite a while, so that's just not worth it. So that is one thing I like to try and catch myself. I still sometimes don't do it and I end up splotching, so I'm just trying to get you guys maybe something handy that you can keep in mind when you are airbrushing, because pushing down, pulling back, letting go is a big no-no. So always go into the place where you were, where you only have airflow, and then you go off of the handle. And I am now running it around 1 bar, so a bit over 10 psi, which is okay. I will be setting it to the actual paint I'll use. I'll anyway have to play around with paints because I am actually quite new. I just used to airbrush in school, and our teacher always used to get quite cross with us when we didn't return to the home position and just let it go. So he was always listening for the letting go button stuff, and he was quite strict about that. So that is still in, and I haven't had an airbrush myself yet at home, but I still remember that quite well. Some things just stay with you, and I'm sure you guys all have something that since you were in school or something, it's like a habit you hear about and you just keep remembering it. And that's one thing I remember from school time, is don't let go of the airbrush button before you aren't in the home position. Then I wanted to show you guys, I have got a big paint collection. It's nothing special, ordered it off of Amazon. I am gonna try it out, see how it is. If it's cool, I might show it in a different video. I've anyway got a separate video where I show you guys how far I've been coming with the bait building, the prototypes, what went wrong at the beginning, because it's a learning process, I have to say, with all the infill files, with trying to make the bait swim properly, printing printing holes in the bait and that make it float in a special way without it sinking, that it doesn't float on its side. So a lot of playing around, but I'll show you guys. I think it's just getting into it and a learning process that once you know how to do it, you actually can do it quicker. So I'm going to show you guys my first 3D model and also my first prints. I also played around with supports quite a lot actually, and then we're just going to try and make our first bait, go out there and see if we actually are able to catch something with it. So I'm going to show you what I've got. I've got a lot of different eyes, a lot of goodies that I'm going to be using on the bait, and once we've got that, I'll go out and try the baits and we'll see what we get. So keep tuned, stick around. I'm sure it's going to be quite cool and exciting what we're going to be doing, and I wish you a good one. Keep on fishing and cheers.